I know you said you haven't paid attention to sports much. Did you digest the Xander Bogaerts thing at all as a Sox fan?
Holy cow. So, like, look, I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming right away. But the weird thing about working in baseball is that now, if I were to say I know it's coming, and then people would ascribe some sort, like I have some sort of inside information that I clearly don't
Mhm.
have. Or if I ended up being wrong, which would be a good thing for me, which would mean that the Red Sox kept Xander Bogaerts, then people would use it to discredit, like, oh, you said they wouldn't. But just like as a fan of this team who has followed this team, and as a woman who has been told she's a priority to a team before and then been let go, I knew where this was going. And I watched a lot of insiders say the opposite. And like every time I said it to my group of friends, I was like, look, we just have to prepare ourselves. He's gone. And Devers is probably gone too, especially now. But like every time I said it, they were like, I don't know. It's looking good. It's looking like it's going to close. And then Judge signed with the Yankees. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll stay. Maybe he won't leave. And then he left. And boy, is it tough for somebody who, after the Mookie Betts thing happened, was like, yeah, I'm going to take a break from this team.
Mm.
And I did. And then obviously last year worked in baseball, fell back in love with the sport as a whole, and was like ready to get back into my Red Sox fandom. That was my whole childhood. And then this. And it's just like put me in this place where I'm like, what does it even mean to be a fan now? Like, who do I, if like, have you ever heard people say like you have loyalty to laundry, where it's like with
Yeah.
the way free agency works now, it's like, what are we just rooting for the, and so like part of you is like, yeah, my identity is in this team because this team represents where I'm from. And then another
Mhm.
part of you is like, yeah, but I don't know these guys in the front office at all. And I don't agree with what they're doing at all. And they're charging a lot of money for us to go to games. Like Sox tickets are not cheap. And I get it that like Fenway itself is an attraction. And one of the best things about baseball is like, even if you don't care about what's going on in the season, because it's a million games, just like a summer baseball game during the day is awesome. It's just like an awesome thing
Mhm.
to do. So I get it that they can charge that much. And I get it that like, oh, parking can't be convenient because it's in the middle of the city. But all those things come together and you're just like, man, the average person who just wants to support the baseball team in the city is just like getting knocked around financially, and then like you get emotionally attached to these guys and then just watch them walk away to go to a team that didn't need him. It's just a lot, you know?
Ugh. Yeah, to a team that's essentially got like 3 of the same guy
Like,
now.
what are we doing that for? Why do they get to have him? What's up? So, you know, go
Yeah.
Sox, and we'll get through it or something. But like it's just very frustrating. It's just very frustrating. I wish Xander Bogaerts nothing but the best, and I hope he knows that many of us love him very much and will miss him very much.
Well, I think that's kind of like the thing about fandom, right? Is you just want somebody in the process to love the laundry the way that you love the laundry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
players can go out and express it every day. Like they play very hard for the team. You see the effort there. All you see from the front office are these moves. And if they're constantly sending you this message that, like, yeah, we don't really care that much about how you guys feel or what you're attached to, like, we're just going to kind of do whatever works. Like, eventually, you're going to drive people away like that. And like, I saw Carabas having a full blown
I
meltdown and
mean,
smoke like 5 cigarettes at once. I was very worried for him and still am.
yeah, yeah, it would still be. Yeah.
Like
But like,
his, yeah.
but then sometimes ownership does that thing where they act like they. What bothers me is when they play into that emotional attachment. Like, for example, and it's just recency example, like the Cubs this year at the trade deadline, everybody thought Contreras was going to move and Hap was probably going to move. And so they had these like big emotional goodbyes. And they had like, this may be their last game with the Cubs. And like, fans were having this conversation about like, we love them, they should stay, we want to keep them, and then they stayed. And so it was like this really confusing thing where the team played into this idea that they weren't going to go and gave them these goodbyes, and then they stayed. And it just kind of put into focus for me how emotionally manipulative it can be to be a sports fan, to like constantly have people going like, no, we care, and then like watch them not care, and then have them be like, what do you think, we don't care? And you're like, well, you don't care. It's a business. And I get that it's a business. I'm not an idiot. I know it's about making money, but I also know that there's a point where like you've got a lot of it, and you don't need infinitely more of it. You just need to just pay them and like let us have the people that we like for a while.